same time. You play it in my mind. You play it in my mind. Oh, oh. They'll never know this love and how it feels. I never thought love at first sight could feel so real. You brought emotions out I couldn't feel. It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. Oh, I can feel it. I can feel it. Call me in the air. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Call me in the air. Call me in the air. Call me in the air. Oh no. They'll never know this love and how it feels. I never thought love at first sight could feel so real. They'll never know this love and how it feels. I never thought love at first sight could feel so real. How it real, how it real, feel so real. How it real, how it real. How it real, and that feels so real. How it real, how it real, how it real, feels so real.
When they're chilling at the Holiday Inn.
Good morning, traders! What's going on? Happy Money Monday! Woo! What's up? How we all doing today? Good morning, traders! What's up? Hit me with a big old good morning. Who's all inside the chat? Who is fired up? And who's ready to rock and roll and lock in some amazing profits today in the market? Mr. Ron, how we doing? Steve, Jason, Chris, John G, Real Lil Spaz, welcome to Florida. Mr. Steve, Colin, Arlene, movie star, Beth. Woo, we got a lot of traders in chat today. Trader King, Crypto, Cole, Jay, Cohen, Corey. What's up, traders? Happy Money Monday. How are y'all doing today? Welcome back. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys are having an even better Money Monday morning and that you're fired up, ready to go. You are prepared, ready to lock in some big time profits. Over on YouTube, hit me with a big old good morning as well. We got Mr. Ed Nevis, the man, the myth, the legend. Mr. Jason, how we doing? Joey Mootaz. I love when Mootaz is in YouTube because I can go Mootaz. I sound like I'm doing some UFC introduction. And in the left corner, 175 pounds, lightweight champion Mootaz. fellas? What's up, John? What's up, Zane? Mr. Jason, how we doing today? MD, how we doing? Ron Dougie, good morning, good morning. We don't really have a lot to talk about today. It's a pretty slow Monday morning, guys. It really is. So we've been kind of scanning through some of these pre-market gainers for penny stocks, looking at prior day movers. Obviously, we're looking at the overall market. We have the SPY down 6 points. We have the Qs down 4 points. The VIX is shooting up once again. Again, there's just a lot of variables. There's a lot of moving pieces right now, guys. And so we're going to see a lot of big time movement to the upside and the downside, right? A lot of volatility, a lot of moves. And again, team, that's where a lot of the focus still is at this point in time, is with the broader market. Looking at the SPY and the Qs currently gapping down. The VIX is on the rise again. A lot of uncertainties in the market. Again, just a lot of moving pieces, a lot of variables. What do we not do in chat? We don't predict what's going to happen, right? We react, right? So get that out of your mindset. If you like predicting the market, quit predicting things. Just react, all right? It's going to help you out a lot. So let's get prepared. Let's do our due diligence, all right? And let's get prepared with some preparation. Let's do our DD, get all of our levels marked up, get confident, right? Identify the top stocks that have the best opportunity for the day. And then what? We're going to react. When we see the trade present itself, we're going to react to it. And let's lock in those profits today, guys. It is the last day of February 28, 2022. We got 1 day to go until we end this month. So let's do this. Let's have a great Monday, right? Brand new day, brand new week, brand new opportunities. Let's end the month of February strong in green and carry this momentum in from February into March. And let's see our biggest March yet. So what do we got going on today, ladies and gentlemen? 4 stocks at this point in time that I'm watching for penny stocks. All right, we got INDO. INDO was a mover from last week. Okay, so INDO last week was at like $4, hitting highs there on Thursday at 14.78. Big gap down on Friday, but we had a decent little close on Friday, and we're seeing a gap up once again here on INDO and pre-market. INDO is the lowest float stock on the leaderboard. This stock moves very, very quickly, right? It's a low float stock. It could absolutely rip and run. We're trading okay volume, right? We're trading 2.2 million shares on average. This stock trades 4.9. And that's thanks to some of the volume that we saw last week on the stock. I mean, again, there on Monday, was that Monday? Or no, Tuesday. Yeah, we had a short week, didn't we? We had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there on Tuesday, 88 million shares, right? Then we had 40 million shares, and then 47, and then 10. So a lot of that average volume was propped up because of the last weeks of trading. So we're still trading decent volume. We're not trading above the average. But again, this is not like a fresh stock with fresh news catalyst play to where we're really dissecting the news, dissecting the volume. It's a momentum play. It's a stock that was a prior day mover that's gapping up once again, that has good potential. So we're definitely going to surpass the average volume, right, of 4.9. We're definitely going to trade more than that today. We're up 24%, and it's the lowest float stock on the leaderboard. And this is the #1 stock that we definitely want to be keeping on watch, guys. All right, so at this point in time, support is all the way back down around like 1237. It's pretty far away, but that's one of the better levels of support here on INDO. Now, what do we know about support levels and resistance levels? Not only do we have past chart levels, but we have psychological levels, natural levels as well. And that could be $15. So if we see INDO re-break 15 and hold above 15, that could be one of our light natural levels of support. But past chart history, looking left, we're looking right around Friday's highs. And right around Friday's highs was 1237. And that's going to be one of the better levels of support on INDO. Right now, top resistance is going to be $16.12. All right, $16.12 is going to be the pre-market high, and that lines up with some Thursday pre-market action as well, some of those highs. So we're really just looking at the pre-market high as resistance, $16.12 on INDO. And it was a little bit of a level of resistance there on Thursday of last week as well. All right, we break over that $16.12. How high could we see this go? $17.29, $17.90, and then all the way back up to $19.63 here on INDO. Now, another couple of levels that I want to point out, right? I know I said the best of the best level of support is going to be all the way back down towards around 1237, and it is. That's a pretty good level of support. But I want to point out this 1414 level, right? We know that prior day levels like to hold up as some kind of support resistance, right? So we have prior day highs, prior day lows, the opens, and the closes. So Thursday's open was right around 1414, right? We see the open, we saw the U shape, the red to green move attempt. That was also right around its spiking high. Its spiking high was right around 1447, but that was a red to green move attempt off the open, which failed there on Thursday with INDO. So right now, we could utilize that level as another light level of support to see if INDO stays above. Now, if this stock forms like a double bottom, right, or some kind of reversal formation, some kind of setup off one of those levels from Thursday, whether that's the open or the high, that could be a level of support as well. We could see INDO move off of to the upside. We're still looking at the $15 natural support level. Psychological level being 15 bucks. Right now it's resistance, but if we break above and we hold it, could absolutely turn into support. Again, we have room to that pre-market high of 1612. Anything over 1612, we could absolutely see 1729, 1790, and then 1960 with, again, light support 1414. Below that level, we could absolutely see this fade and fall back down towards around 1237. Ideally, we wouldn't really want to see it all the way back down towards around 1237. That's definitely not showing strength. It's showing a little bit of weakness, but anything can happen. But it's all about preparation, what we're doing, getting prepared. Why is the stock moving? What's the float? What's the volume? Where could it go? Where could it pull back to, right? And now we have to just wait for the setup, right? We have to wait for something to present itself, something that we know has 70% odds of working out in our favor, but a 30% chance of going against us, right? High risk reward setups. Again, 80-20 setups, A-plus setups, a good strategy to present itself. That's all we're waiting for, right? Now it's just a simple game of patience and waiting for the stock to give us something to trade off of. Right now, there's no reason to really get involved at this point in time for a trade, but it's definitely a top stock that I think we should be watching today. Ticker INDO, one of the top ones that I'll be watching right out of the gates. And I have a feeling that we'll probably see a lot of these stocks fade and fall, and we'll see just random stocks hitting our scanners, right? The high day momentum scanner, our breakout scanner. I think we'll have a few other choices present themselves at the start of the day. We'll see other stocks probably moving on up. We'll see the attention really land on a couple stocks, and we may see a couple different stocks that we're not talking about right now actually be the top gainers and the best opportunities of the day. So again, not only are we looking at these stocks that we're reviewing, we're definitely going to be eyeballing those scanners to see, hey, is it going to be INDO? Is that going to be the top stock? Is it going to be INPP? Is it going to be ALF? Or is it going to be a random stock that just starts moving, that gets a lot of action today like we've seen in some prior weeks? So again, do not forget to watch those scanners and look to see where the buyers are going. Where is the volume? Where's the focus? Where's the activity in the market right now? Could it be one of these stocks that we're talking about? Absolutely. Could it be a random low float stock that traders just get going? Absolutely. But again, we're getting prepared with what we have in front of us, and we'll see what comes up here at the start of the day. So number two that we'll be watching today is going to be ticker ALF. Okay, so we're going to be watching ALF as well. So ALF was a prior day mover. It moved a little bit on Thursday and Friday. A couple good days back to back. Now Thursday was a pretty light volume day, right under 1 million shares, but then Friday, nice little open, we traded 5.1 million shares. We had some really nice post-market action, and we're not dumping on off here in pre-market either. We're actually holding on up above our 232 level of support. So right now we are gapping up on ALF from 206 to 236. ALF is another low float stock. It's 8 million in float, and we are trading good volume on ALF, right? We're trading good volume, 2.6 million shares. On average, this stock trades 346,000 shares. So low float, good volume. It's gapping up 14%. It's a prior day mover, and it's not just dumping on off. It's actually sitting sideways, consolidating, trying to hold its gains. I like ALF above 232, right? 232 is some decent support here on ALF. Now, if we start cracking back down below that 232, where can we see this go? Back down towards around Friday's close of 206, definitely a level that we could see this hold above. But I like, like right at $2. So there's a couple reasons why. $2 is right around Friday's close of 206, okay? It's also $2 natural support, and it's right around the 50 SMA as well. So if we see this crack 232, we have support right around 196 to 206. Give yourself about a 10-cent window where ALF could find support. Could it be $2 to the penny? Yes. Could it be 206? Absolutely. Could it be 196? Right at that 50 SMA? 100%, right? So give yourself about that 10-cent window of good support on ALF if we do indeed crack below and start fading and falling below that 232. Okay, so we do have some support at 232. We have resistance across those pre-market highs right around 260. We gapped down a little bit from post-market to pre-market, so right where we closed in post-market would be a level of resistance, 272. Then we're just looking at some of these highs from post-market there on Friday, right? So right around like 280. You can just see there's going to be a little bit of resistance from 272 all the way up to 295. I mean, it could be 275, 280, 285, 290, right? But give yourself a little bit of a window of there is going to be resistance between 272 and 295. So if we're in the trade and we're moving higher and we see 275 break up to 280, watching the level 2 and the time in sales, when you start to see a lot of selling move in, right? You're not seeing the buying at a certain level, again, between that 272 the 285, that would be a level that you want to start thinking about locking in some profits if we do indeed get that move higher. If we are long, breaking above 260 into that selling zone of 275 to 295 on ALF. Again, it's a prior day mover. It's gapping up 15%. We have good volume compared to the average. It's an 8 million in float stock as well, so low float. Holding its gains in pre-market, it's showing some strength, and we could absolutely see another day of continuation to the upside here on ticker ALF. So this is going to be ticker number 2 that I'm watching today out of the gates. And then MULN. We will be watching ticker MULN. And what was the news here? EV manufacturer MULN announces progress on solid state polymer battery pack development. So we got some EV news on MULN. MULN was hitting the scanners on Thursday, and I noticed that I'm like, man, this stock is getting beaten down, just dropped below $1, increased selling volume as the stock is fading and falling. This thing looks disgusting on Thursday. Didn't really do too much, a little bit of what we call a dead cat bounce, had a nice little move there on Friday, and now we're gapping up big time here in pre-market. So MULN right now at this point in time is currently number 1 on the leaderboard, up 45%. Trading 36 million shares. On average, this stock trades about 7 million shares. So we have high relative volume. We have a nice gap up. We have fresh news. There is a catalyst as to why this stock is up 44%. And it's a low float stock, right? It's 22 million in float. This stock could move. We really want to see the stock above $1, right? Now, we know with penny stocks, the longer a stock's underneath of $1, and when we get that dollar break, we can see big time moves to the upside. This stock just dropped below $1, right? Just over the last couple of weeks. So these dollar breaks aren't as strong. We're not really going to expect those big time rips and runs when we see those proper $1 breaks. But I still want to put some emphasis around $1 because it's one of the strongest levels of support and resistance for the small cap penny stock. So I'd like to see MULN trading above $1, right? At the lowest, 93 cents, right? We have some support right around 93.39. Ideally, in a perfect world, to show some strength with MULN, above $1, right? Above $1. Now, where could we see this stock go? Look left. Look at some prior levels of resistance, right there at 106. Right up here around 115 to 119. And you're like, all right, so I got those levels marked up, but what if the stock breaks over 119? How high could it go? Play psychological levels as well as your technical levels. So you would have 125. It's a psychological level of resistance. You would have 150, right? Psychological level of resistance. And then we could see it up towards around that 20 EMA at 161 here on MULN. All right, so that's going to be the number 3 stock that we're watching out of the gate. Right now, we have some support around 93.39, 0.9339-ish. All right, right around that level is support. Again, ideally, above $1 shows strength. I like that. We have room to 106. We could see 115 to 119, and then some psychological levels, 125, 150, and then our top target, if this stock is the #1 stock of the day, and this is where traders are at, we could absolutely see 161 here on MULN. And we have the news, we have the volume, and it's a low float stock, #3 on the leaderboard. And then last but not least, we got INPP, another mover from last week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This stock has been moving from a low on Monday of like 70 cents. Hitting highs in pre-market of 259. The stock is up over 200% in just the last week on INPP. So what's going on here, right? Again, it's moving like some of these other prior day movers, like INDO, right? So again, some of these movers from last week getting some action again. So INPP is just a prior day mover. It's a momentum play. It's been holding up pretty nicely over the past week. And honestly, now that I come back to INPP, this is going to be my #1 stock that I watch, right? #1's INPP. I would say #2 would be INDO. #3 would be ALF, and I like ALF as well. So it's a pretty tough, you know, which one? Is it INDO or ALF? I like them both. And then MULN looks good as well. So INPP, I'm definitely liking this stock. Consistent uptrend, right? What happens is we put in a high, we gap up in pre-market, we pull back to that prior day high, we hold a support, right? Look at what this stock typically does, right? So they're on Wednesday, right? Actually, let's start back here on Tuesday, right? Tuesday, we had a lot of resistance around 90 cents. We gapped up in pre-market, we pulled back to 90 cents, held a support, we ripped up higher, right? What was our high day on Wednesday? High day on Wednesday was 128, right? Thursday morning pre-market, we gap up, we pull all the way back to 128. What do? We move higher. We're intact with this uptrend. What do we do again? We put in some highs in pre-market Thursday. We put in some highs in pre-market on Friday. What happens on Friday? We break above that level, we pull back, we hold a support. Where's our next level of resistance? If we look left, well, that's going to be Friday's highs of 224. So right now, looking at the consistency with this stock, we put in resistance, we break above, we hold a support, we move higher. We put in resistance, we break above, we hold a support, we move higher. We break over resistance, we hold a support. What happens? We move higher. We break over resistance. What do you think is going to happen? We hold a support and move higher. I mean, that's been the trend. That's been the consistency with INPP. So as long as that stays intact, we're going to play what's been tradable. What's the pattern, right? What's the stock doing over and over and over and over consistently? Well, we just identified what the stock is doing over and over and over and over consistently. So again, we just broke over Friday's highs of 224, and we're pulling back and retesting that level as support. So right now with INPP, run yourself a downtrend. This is my favorite strategy, guys, by the way. When we see a stock breaking resistance and downtrending into support with a validated downtrend, and we see a double bottom or a higher low form above that level of support, and then we see it follow through and break the downtrend, I get aggressive, I get long. These are my favorite setups. These are the best risk to reward and the highest probability setups in my opinion. These are the boom, boom, bangarangs, right? The downtrend breaks, and when they set up like this, right? When you have a nice, consistent uptrend over the course of a couple of days, and you see the stock breaking resistance and downtrending back into new support with the downtrend break, these are great A+ setups. That's why I like INPP, and I want to watch INPP as my #1 stock out of the gate. We do have support back down towards right around that 224 to 225. If we see it crack and make a lower low, it completely nullifies this downtrend break idea that we currently have. So got about 9 minutes, 8 minutes until the market opens, right? As long as we stay above that low, right, ideally of 225, 226, and we see that double bottom or higher low, the stock opens and breaks the downtrend as well as that VWAP, I'm going long on INPP out of the gate. We have room to 250, we have room to 255, and then 259. So again, we have a great first target up towards around 250, and then in between 250 and 259 would be our levels of resistance. If we break over those pre-market highs, which is very possible based on what we've done consistently over the past week now, we do have some room up towards around 289. Obviously, $3 resistance. It's a psychological level, and then potentially up towards around 342 on INPP. But if this stock is ready to start downtrending and having a red day, right, and we're not going to hold on up and we crack below 224, and if this stock is shortable, we could look to short this stock down towards around that 189, 190 level. So we can play this long, we can play it short. Overall, there's going to be some good opportunity, in my opinion, today with ticker INPP. So definitely one of the top stocks I want to keep on watch, ladies and gentlemen. But one thing to be mindful of real quick, right? Just something to be mindful of. I'm not saying it's going to dictate which way you take the trade, but if you ran a downtrend from Friday's low to that post-market low right here, we can see that it was a trend line that was validated here in pre-market. We did come down and bounced off the trend line, and we're starting to kind of dip below that trend line a little bit. Don't put that much emphasis into the trend line because it's not that validated, but it's something to be mindful of is, hey, if that was a potential uptrend and traders were utilizing that, what do traders do when trend lines are cracked? They A, go short, or they stop out of their long positions. That could be the cause to why the stock may not hold above that level of support and actually get the break of the downtrend. So again, if you start to see this really selling on off, it's probably because you got shorts entering the trade for the crack of the trend line and then longs getting stopped out. But again, don't put that much emphasis on the trend line, as again, it's just a light level, but it's something that I wanted to bring your attention to, as it's something you should be mindful of. At this point in time, I'm definitely leaning to the long side, and I definitely think INPP has a lot of great potential. And INPP, guys, is one of my top stocks that I'll be watching today. All right, guys, so IN to the P to the P. And you may have a trade in pre-market before the market opens. You never know, right? You have about 7 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go. If this stock starts breaking the VWAP and the downtrend, it may give you what you need for a trade right before the open. So definitely watch INPP over the next 6 minutes, guys. This stock may start breaking and giving you that strategy and giving you that setup on INPP. Couple things I want to point out with the SPY real quick, guys. As we all know, like we already talked about, there's a lot of uncertainty, right? There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of variables. You got Ukraine, Russia, you got the Fed and the interest rate hikes, you got inflation concerns. There's a lot of stuff going on in the market. We're not predicting what's going to happen. We're reacting to the opportunities in front of us, right? So we come in, do our due diligence, and we get prepared. The biggest thing that I want to point out, guys, is we're still in a downtrend, right? So everybody's saying, go long, go long, go long, go long, go long. Well, what do we do as traders? We play the trend. The trend is your friend. What's the SPY doing right now? It's downtrending, guys, in this big time falling channel, right? So we have this trend line across these lows as support, right? So we do have this downtrend here off of our lows. We can even run a downtrend off of these highs. Now I know we broke it, what was it, last week or the week before? We broke above it, but it was a false breakout. So look at this downtrend off these all-time highs, a double top off the downtrend. We hit the downtrend, we sold off. We had a false breakout above the downtrend. We fell back below, resistance, and then what did we just hit there on Friday? We hit this downtrend once again as resistance, and then we gapped down. So I want you guys really to focus on this downtrend, okay? It could break above, and we could have a short-term long like we saw early February, right? Where we had the break of the downtrend, but then it could also fake back out and continue to fall inside of this big falling channel that we have. So the trend is your friend, right? The trend's your friend. What's the SPY doing? It's in a clear downtrend with no sign of it reversing at this point in time. So what I'm doing is I'm playing the trend. I'm looking to take the SPY short when we have intraday short opportunities. And if this stock ever starts reversing, it's breaking above the downtrend outside of the falling channel, and we clearly see a trend reversal, now I'm long biased and I'm going to play the best opportunities to the long side. But bigger picture, downtrend, we saw that level hit perfectly Friday in post-market, followed by a gap down. It's slowly starting to creep back up here in pre-market, but we do have some resistance around Friday's highs and Friday's close, right around 437. And 437 is also that big downtrend here on the SPY from this falling channel. So there's a couple reasons that we have some decent resistance up towards around 437. So if we see that resistance really setting in, buyers aren't here, we're not strong, we're not getting that break, we could absolutely look to short the crap out of the SPY today, guys. So definitely be mindful of what we have on some of the higher time frames, what we're doing here in pre-market, mark up your levels, get prepared like we have, and now we wait for the opportunity to present itself. But there's some big time opportunity with the SPY especially if we see that rejection around 437, and that's where we're entering the short. We have potential to fall all the way back down to 425 and then 410. So there's a lot of big time opportunity here on the SPY, right? The VIX is currently gapping up once again, guys. The VIX currently is up to 32. So still a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty in the market at this point in time. If you guys don't like trading options and we see the SPY and the Qs and the overall market dumping, fading, and falling, what can you do? You can look to go long on an inverse ETF like UVXY. So when I trade UVXY, I'm trading the SPY. They're pretty tight. They correlate really nice and tight together. So if I see a good short opportunity on the SPY and I would short the SPY or take puts, I would just simply look to go long on UVXY. I'm playing SPY shorts, but in turn, I'm playing UVXY to the long side. Again, UVXY is an inverse ETF. It's going to do the opposite, right? So if the SPY is a great short and it looks like it's going to dump, that means UVXY is a great long and it's possibly going to rip. So again, you have inverse ETFs like UVXY that you could actually trade shares with if you don't like trading options. A couple of stocks that I'm looking at today that I like, that I think has good opportunity, right? And I have about a minute to dive into these real quick. I'm just going to bring them to your attention and mark up my levels. Roku, gap fill short rejection, right? So big gap down off earnings, and we're slowly bouncing back up on decreased volume. That shows weakness. I'm looking for a gap fill rejection to the short side. So again, the gap could be that low of day or the close. So we're looking at 143 to 145 resistance on Roku. Filling the gap, seeing that rejection, followed by the next leg down to the short side. I'm looking at a gap fill short opportunity on Roku. Home Depot and Lowe's, both the same thing, right? Selling on off, right? A little bit of a gap down. We're bouncing back up on decreased volume over the last 2 days, right? We're seeing a slight bounce back up with Home Depot and Lowe's on the daily chart coming off low volume. I'm simply looking at these to see if they would be 2 to 3-legged pullbacks, right? So if this is a 2 or a 3-legged pullback and we see that confirmation, we would have a good short opportunity on Home Depot. And we could see the same thing here on Lowe's. I like Home Depot more than Lowe's, but I want to watch both of those as they're in the same industry, in the same sector. If Home Depot gives us that good setup for a short, Lowe's could give us a good setup for a short as well. But Home Depot looks the best, and I'm looking for a potential 2 to 3-legged pullback to the short side here on Home Depot. So real quick, guys, what stock do you think is going to do the best today? You got 9 seconds. Cast your votes. What stock do you think will do the best today? Do you think it's INDO, ALF, MULN, or other? I'm saying other because I like INPP, guys. I like INPP right out of the gate for a possible downtrend break opportunity above 225. So INPP is my stock of the day. Cast your votes. Let me know what you guys are thinking right now. 100% of chat saying other. I'm definitely thinking that we're thinking ticker INPP. Let's make it happen, team. Let's have some fun. Let's be smart. Let's trade safe, and let's lock in those big time profits. Again, watching the SPY, watching the Qs. Obviously, that's where 80% of the focus is, followed by Roku for the gap fill shorts opportunity, and looking at Home Depot for the possible 2 to 3-legged pullback off this decreasing volume bounce into resistance for the next leg down, once again on Home Depot, and the same thing here on Lowe's. And then Roku for the gap fill rejection to the short side between 143.11 and 145. This is my number one option play of the day, would be Roku for that potential short if we see the gap get filled and we see the resistance and that leg on down. I'm getting short on Roku. I'll definitely be aggressive on Roku. Let's get those scanners opened up, and we are all set, ready to rock, and we're all set, ready to rock and roll, guys. So again, we have 83% of chat saying other. We have 16% of chat saying the SPY and the Qs. We're on the same page here, guys. We are absolutely on the same page. So a little bit of a false move there on INPP. MULN, and as you guys can see, I have no positions right now. No positions on the day. I am tradeless, guys. Nothing right now at this point in time. Give me a second. I need to get my other broker opened on up, and it's causing me a little bit of issues. So it always gets hidden off the screen. There we go. Now we're not hidden. We are good. SOFI, SOFI. So SOFI moving again today? Yeah, SOFI having a nice little day here. We got earnings on SOFI. That's going to be tomorrow after market, I think. After the market. Yep, so that's going to be tomorrow after the market there on SOFI. But same thing, it had that big aggressive drop on down with the overall market. It's seeing a nice little rebound. It's just kind of moving with, again, the overall market at this point in time. But one thing I'm noticing is a lot of lack of volume along this move on up. So one thing just to be mindful of if you're looking at the daily is you're coming back into 1123 resistance on decreased volume to the upside. That could be a three-legged pullback to where we actually continue to see SOFI fade and fall. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying that's something you have to be mindful of. The fact that we're just moving with the overall market, right? We see the same exact chart and the same exact price action from the last week with SOFI like we're seeing with the SPY, right? What happened? SOFI, huge gap down on Thursday, nice rebound on decreased volume. That's exactly what we saw with the SPY and the Qs. So if we see the SPY and the Qs roll on over based on our short thesis that we're still going to fade and fall, that's going to cause SOFI to ideally probably fade and fall as well, guys. All right? So just be mindful of what we see there on the daily. INPP, we don't have anything yet, but hey, we could still be setting on up. We are holding above that 225 level. Then again, we had INDO, that 414 support, 1414, right? 1414 support. But right now, it's not really looking the best, is it? Nice, TJ in UVXY 1640. You're up like $2 a share, boss. Definitely lock in some of your profits, man. Definitely lock in a little bit. You know, you definitely still have a lot of great room to the upside on UVXY, especially if we see the overall markets roll back over, which is definitely possible. And that's what I'm leaning towards is, again, to the short side, playing this big falling channel here on the SPY. Again, the trend is your friend. But if you're up right now, UVXY, like $2 a share, yeah, you should definitely lock in a little bit of cheddar and get paid. What's up with the 4-digit MULN over $1? I do not know what you mean. What's up with the 4-digit MULN? Where do we see MULN up to? MULN, we have room to 115, Dougie. And then between, I would say 115 and 119, right? So you have some 115 resistance, but then you also have the high of 119. So right around 115 to 118. And then you're going to play your psychological levels on MULN. So you're going to have 125, 150, and then your 20 EMA here, which the 20 EMA right now is all the way down towards around 156. So I would say 150, right? I would say 150 would be your top target if this stock does indeed start moving to the upside. Again, we really want to see this above $1. We do have room down to 93 cents at the lowest, but it really shows some strength if MULN can stay above $1, ideally getting above that 106 as well. That's when you could absolutely start to see that 115 to 119, and then you're off to the races over pre-market highs, 125 and 150. Oh, why is it displaying fractions of a penny? I got you. I don't see that on my end. I don't see fractions of a penny on MULN. I guess maybe right up here. Yeah, you got 102.00000. But not, yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. 102.00000. What's up with the, right? Why is it displaying fractions? But when you look at the time in sales, they do come in fractional. Like 1.0202, 1.01. 09, 1.0162. Yeah, so you do see it coming in there. But right now, guys, I still have 0 trades on the day. So there's my P&L. I'm very transparent with you guys. I don't see anything right now as to why I want to get involved with anything. So again, I have 0 trades on my Fidelity account. I have 0 trades on my main account. Nothing right now at this point in time that I want to get involved with, right? ALF was looking a little tempting, but I'm saying, you know, it's a new week. It's Monday, right? Brand new opportunities in the market. What did we see last week? We saw a lot of, you know, rug pulls on penny stocks towards the end of the week, a lot of inconsistency. So I just don't want to be the guinea pig, right? I'd rather sit back and let other traders besides you guys be the guinea pigs, right? And let's wait for a stock to actually prove itself. Again, ALF is starting to get hit pretty hard here. MULN is really struggling. INPP is not getting that downtrend break setup. INDO looks pretty weak right now as well. So penny stocks, guys, tough, challenging, choppy, not a lot of opportunity. So let's just put our focus here on the SPY and the Qs. Let's make it easy. Let's simplify the process. Again, Roku was my short, guys, off that 142, 143. We came and topped out right around 141.93. And again, we were just basically looking at this gap fill rejection, right? That's what we were looking for, was the gap fill rejection. I had a 143 level, came up to 142. It was right about $1 away. But you still saw that quick double top with the crack of the neckline, and then you even still saw about a $3 decline there on Roku. So again, Roku was my #1 pick to the short side off the gap fill short, which we're starting to see that play on out. If you guys missed it, it'll set back up. If it's going to be an all-day short, which I would expect, you'll see it bounce back up, form a lower high. It'll reestablish some resistance somewhere, and it'll probably give you another opportunity to be able to enter this trade if you've missed it. But if you missed this trade near the 143 resistance, there's no reason to chase this and touch this. It already dropped from 142 to 136. You would be chasing this to the short side, right? The stock's already dropped. Let it bounce back up, let it set back up, and then look for an opportunity. And that's going to cause UVXY to start ripping to the upside. So, with El Spy, the Spy, just look at some of these pre-market levels, right? You got pre-market resistance, intraday resistance, 443.89. Just call it 434. Keep it easy. Or just call it 434. So as long as we're below 434, we definitely look weak, and we could definitely see this fade and fall all the way back down into the 426s. If you see the SPY actually show some strength, then we're going to break 434 and get up to this downtrend from the daily chart around 437. We could look for a break and hold above 434 and take a intraday long, right, up to that downtrend resistance. And that's where we want to get out and then be looking for a possible short on the SPY. But we could have a quick long opportunity coming on up. Maybe grab about 2 to 3 points to the upside on the SPY into that downtrend resistance and then get out, right? Get out to the long side. Take those quick profits if we get this opportunity, and then flip to being short biased a little bit because you are right at resistance, and we could have a good short that may present itself up towards around that 437. So we still got a little bit of time here on the SPY and the Qs to kind of see what takes place over the next 5 minutes, right around this 434. Is it indeed resistance? And is it really going to stay on down? We're going to get some quick shorts out of the gate, or is it going to break on up for a quick long opportunity here on the SPY? As far as penny stocks right now, I don't see anything, guys. I do not see anything in regards to pennies at this point in time. So again, we saw that quick little pop up to 433, nice pullback, and then we saw 3 clean rejections right at those pre-market highs of 434, right? It pushed up, it rejected, pushed up, rejection, push up, rejection, and then boom, starting to fade and fall. We start cracking below 432 on the SPY, that's when things get pretty exciting to the short side. You're on the SPY. Your next target to the short side on the SPY would be 430.50 if we start cracking below that 432. But again, let's see how this plays out over the next couple of seconds. Couple of minutes. Couple seconds too soon. Couple minutes. So again, pennies, guys, we're gonna have to wait and see what really starts hitting our high today momentum scanner and hitting that breakout scanner consistently, because again, across the board with these pennies, unless you guys see something that I'm not seeing, I don't see really any kind of crazy opportunity right now with any kind of penny stocks. It's definitely a little bit on the slower side and the choppier side with pennies. Again, I want to keep opening this up to show you guys. Again, if I'm in a trade, I'm going to tell you I'm in a trade, right? The reasoning I'm in a trade, what my stop loss is, what my plan is, target. Again, educate you guys as far as why I'm in a trade. Right now, 0 trades from me. Do we got a possible head and shoulders on Apple? We talking daily chart? We talking intraday? I mean, I see what you're seeing here on a 1 minute. It definitely could be, right? You have that quick little spike on up, big time rip up to the 164.5. So if this is going to be a head and shoulders formation, you do not want to see Apple getting back above 164. That's going to be resistance off the left shoulder, and then you have a slight neckline. So we could see that. You're definitely seeing the right thing there, Wade. You're definitely seeing the potential head and shoulders formation, but yet to be validated and yet to have any kind of confirmation, right? If you're getting in right here, you're kind of anticipating the head and shoulders, and right now, this early in the day, you know, being 15 minutes in, I wouldn't really anticipate anything until we actually get some confidence around what direction are we heading. And right now, we're still kind of just tugging a war over the past, 16 minutes here. So we're playing it safe. If we see that rejection at 164, followed by a crack of the neckline, now you have a confirmed head and shoulders formation on an Apple. You could absolutely look to take it short, back down into the low 160s. All right, here we go. So we got INPP, false crack below support, back above, starting to break that downtrend. So let's definitely keep INPP on watch here, guys, and see if this stock is actually gonna, break this downtrend from pre-market and actually stay above it now. We could have a nice little trade up towards around 250, and then up towards around that 259 on INPP. But it's still, I'm tradeless right now. 0 trades at this point in time. So you got ZOM, Q4 sales, 4 mil, beating expectations. That was going to be there late Friday. So it shows, yeah, so ZOM shares trading higher. Company reported Q4 sales, and they reported on the 25th, which was Friday. Shares were rising late Friday trade, and we see ZOM starting to get a little bit of action right now as well. We have room to 50 cents on ZOM, and we are breaking above pre-market resistance, guys. So right now, looking at the daily chart, we have room to 50. Looking at Friday's post-market highs, we have room to 44 cents. And where was all that resistance in pre-market? We can see a lot of that resistance around 40 cents. So you'd have 40 cent support, 40 to 41 cents on ZOM. You have room to 44 cents, and then anything over 44 cents, you have some obviously 45 and then 50. And that's a good target on ZOM, would be up towards around that 50 cent level. So right now, flat resistance on the SPY, 434. Slight uptrend, but as we have flat resistance, we see it slightly making these lower highs. And that's all we really have right now. Slightly lower highs, right around that 434 resistance with the slight uptrend. So if you start to crack this slight uptrend after it hitting resistance 3 times and then forming slightly lower highs, that's a good sign of a reversal on the SPY. But right now, it's 50-50. We could hold the uptrend and break 434, right? If that takes place, we have a trade, right, to the long side. Now, if we see that 434 continue to get rejected as resistance, still building these lower highs, looking a little weak, cracking the uptrend, and we see selling move in, guess what? We have an opportunity to the short side. Right now, guys, if you're in the SPY, you're really anticipating. If you're in the SPY, you're heavily anticipating a move. And we really don't have any confirmation or validation on which way the SPY is going. Could it crack the uptrend and fall? Absolutely. Could it break resistance and rip and run to 437? Absolutely. But right now, we don't know which way it's going to go. It's in that zone of uncertainty, right? It's 50-50. So wait for your confirmation and make sure you're definitely on the right side of the trade and you have confidence, right? We want 80-20 setups. We're not here to gamble. We're not here for 50-50 setups. We're here for 80-20 setups, A-plus setups. And that takes patience to wait for those, to not overtrade. So again, right now it's a little bit of a slow start. We're 11 minutes into the day. But again, sometimes the best trades come at 10, 11, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're not here to overtrade. We're not here to just trade because we can. We're here to take the one good trade that makes us our profits, and then that's it, right? One good trade is all we need, guys. One great trade is all you need. So wait for your one great trade. It makes it boring. Don't get me wrong. It makes it really boring. Sitting back, being patient, being disciplined, waiting for your one great trade. All right? So boring. But do you want to make money consistently or do you want to lose consistently? Do you want to be a winner or do you want to be a loser? I want to be a winner. I want to win and make money consistently. And if that means less trading and more patience, okay. Right? If that means I'm a little bit more bored, okay. Because I'm here to lock in some great profits in a short amount of time to enjoy life, right? So right now, really a lot of the focus right now is on the SPY, and that's where I'm putting my focus is the SPY, and then obviously UVXY. Because if the SPY starts to crack that uptrend, we know that UVXY is going to start moving back up towards around, I would say like 1840 to 1850 on UVXY. But again, no entries right now. All right, guys, so I know my goal in the mornings, right? Obviously, get you guys prepared over on YouTube for the day. What opportunities do we have in front of us? We hit Roku on the head, right? We had, that was really it, right? To start the day, the only one that really confirmed an entry was Roku to the short side. And I said, wait for it to bounce back up into a level of resistance for your entry. If you guys missed your entry right out of the gate, you're not chasing it to the short side. What do we know? When stocks sell off, they bounce back up before they continue their downtrends. So you could have waited for this bounce back up and have been entering around 140 and maybe already been locking in some quick profits down towards around 138 on Roku for a quick little day trade. Right now, right off the bat, the only trade that we really had give us what we wanted to see for a trade was ROKU, right? It was Roku. Other than that, we're sitting back being patient here on the SPY, looking to see if we're going to get that nice big break up to 437. If so, we can definitely look to take this long with some calls. And if you guys are like, what calls do I take? Right? Well, you want to trade the dailies. You think we have room to 437? Let's go with the 437. What's the open interest look like? 7,000. Okay, it's not bad. Volume, it's not terrible. What's the delta? 34. Spread looks good. I mean, overall, you can go with the 437 call for today's expiration, especially if you feel like we have room to that, you know, downtrend resistance up towards around 437. But you could even get away with, right, a 438, right? A little bit more open interest, a little bit more volume, still has a 30 delta, and they're about $40 less expensive. So the 438 calls would be the ideal calls at this point in time if you're looking to take the SPY up to 437. And if we see it, you know, set up for a short and we crack this trend line, where could we see it pull back to? Right around 431. Right? So let's go look at a 431. 35 delta, 430 is a 30. So you can get away with like a 430, right? A 430 put would be the best one. Has the highest open interest, has the highest volume count, 30 delta. They're still cheap at 138. Nice spreads. So your puts, ideally, you'd be looking at 430 puts if we get the entry for the puts to the short side. And if we get the confirmation to the long side, we're definitely looking at the 438 calls. So we're looking at 438 calls if we get the confirmation for the long. We'll be looking at 430 puts if we get the confirmation for the short. Exactly. Boring is better than being regretful, upset, frustrated from revenge trading, over trading. Absolutely. I'd rather sit here and not do anything versus dig myself a hole, because I know at some point in time, there's going to be one stock that gives me one trade, right? There's going to be a stock that gives me a great opportunity that I'm confident in, that I can rate it as an A+ setup, that I can get involved with. I know that's going to take place at some point in the day. I don't need 10 trades. I need one. When that one trade shows itself, I'll get prepared and I will trade it. And if we're right, we'll make some great profits. If not, we'll cut the losses quick and we'll manage our risk. Let's keep it simple. Keep it simple. Simplify the process, ladies and gentlemen. INDO at this point in time. Right now, we can run a little bit of a downtrend here on the stock, right? Got a nice little downtrend from pre-market. First little spiking high. We just hit resistance again, so that's 1, 2, and 3. So if we start to see the downtrend break on INDO, that would also be breaking back above Thursday's open at 14.14. Right now, we just got to clear the VWAP, but then we have a lot of room to 15. 15.20 and then 16 bucks. INDO right now, definitely on high watch for the potential downtrend break coming on up. ALF is a choppy stock. MULN is just as choppy. INPP, all right, breaking the downtrend, coming back down now and retesting. What else would we be retesting on INPP? Not just the downtrend as new support, but also the VWAP as support. So we have some support right around 233 on INPP with resistance at 250 to 260. Then we have room to 289 here on INPP. So we're definitely watching INDO coming on up. See if this one can set up for us. We definitely have INPP on high watch. And I'm still kind of watching ZOM here. I just want to see if ZOM is going to come back and hold above 40 cents. But for now, as this is where pretty much all the focus is the SPY. So I'm just going to focus on the SPY right now, guys.